Hello, guys, and welcome to episode 29 of Jack Reads. And this is where I'll be reading the book, The Magic Key, The Cream Cake Mystery. And so, let's continue on with the book. And so, here is the book, which is The Magic Key, The Cream Cake Mystery, as seen on BBC TV, featuring characters from Oxford Reading Tree. The Magic Key, The Cream Cake Mystery. Mum and the children were walking home from school. Chip was worried. He had to wrap a rhyme for his homework. He had to write a rap for his homework, so Nadim said he'd help him. I'll start you off, and you do the next line, said Nadim. Chip's my name, rapping's my, he began. Homework, said Chip. No, cried Nadim. Why can't you work out what comes next? Floppy rolled his eyes. It was so obvious. It's rapping's my game, he thought. I wish they could hear me. The key on Floppy's collar started to glow. Suddenly, Nadim, Chip, and Floppy were dragged into a vortex of beautiful colours and lights. They were whizzing round and round, faster and faster. They found themselves in a police station where the superintendent was standing at the counter. Just then, the door opened and a policeman walked in, leading a woman into the station. Cassie's her name, stealing's her game, he said. The superintendent looked pleased. With Jake Blake, there's no mistake, he said to Chip and Nadim, and then pointed to a pair of police helmets. Constables, helmets on, he told them. You, check out Cream Cake Cassie's records, he said to Nadim. You, take the sniffer dog and visit the scene of the crime, he said to Chip. Floppy was pleased. A nice job for once, he thought. Chip and Floppy went along to the bakery. So, what can you tell me about the robbery? Chip asked the baker. Nothing much, the baker replied. This maniac burst in, chanting poetry, and took all my donuts. Floppy sniffed around and found a torn piece of paper. Chip bent down and took it from him. Look at this! It's a poem, said Chip excitedly. The robber's rap! The robber must have dropped it when he ran off, the baker said. Well done, officer! Back at the station, Nadim had made a discovery too. No, excuse me, sir. I've checked Cassie's record, Nadim told Jake Blake, and I'm sure she's not the thief. All eyes turned to Nadim. It's not her normal pattern, he explained. Cream Cake Cassie only steals cream cakes. The superintendent was disappointed. It looks like we got the wrong person, he said. Too right, mate, said Cassie and walked out of the room. But Chip had some evidence that might help catch the real robber. This robber is a rapper, he said, holding up the piece of paper. Give me your lollies, give me your sweets, said Nadim. Give me your licky, sticky treats. Exactly what the robber said at the sweet shop stick-up, Jake gasped. You're right. You're right. Which means, the superintendent started. He must be the robber, said Jake, pointing at the Dean. The Dean shook his head. No, it's written. He started protesting. Yes, in your handwriting, said Jake, snatching the paper and throwing it in the bin. That's not true, cried the Dean, but it was too late. Jake Blake reached for the handcuffs and put them on the Dean. You've got to help me, Chip, the Dean shouted. Find the rhyming pattern and you'll find the crook. Floppy retrieved the paper from the bin and passed it to Chip, who looked at it carefully. Donuts next, he read, and then I'll take a huge delicious. But he couldn't read the end. Floppy barked. It was so obvious to him, but he couldn't get Chip to understand. Chip fought hard. A huge, delicious, sparkling lake, he cried. Chip shook his head. Well, it rhymes. But it doesn't make much sense, he said. You're telling me, thought Floppy. Chip tried again. Donuts next, and then I'll take a huge, delicious, bright green rake, he cried. Floppy sighed. Why couldn't Chip work it out? Just then, Jake Blake walked in eating a donut. Floppy leaps up and grabbed it out of his hand, then dropped it next to Chip. Jake was cross and stormed out of the room. Chip looked at the donut. Oh, I get it, he said. Donuts next, and then I'll take a huge, delicious donut break. Floppy slumped to the floor. It didn't seem as if Chip was ever going to get it. Chip tried again. A huge, delicious birthday cake, he suggested. Floppy barked his approval. At last. At the baker's, the baker had made an enormous and rather special birthday cake, which he put in the shop window. Then Chip, the superintendent, and the baker all hid behind the counter to wait for the robber. They waited and waited. Finally, the masked robber burst through the door. Donuts next, and now I'll take a huge, delicious birthday cake, he laughed greedily. But just as he stepped towards the cake, the demon Floppy jumped out of it, covered in icing. Floppy knocked the robber to the ground and started slurping all the cake off him. You're under arrest, said the demon as he handcuffed the robber. Oh, good work, Char. Well done, Robinson, said the superintendent. And I think I know who our rapping robber is. Chip pulled off the robber's mask. It was Jake Blake. Just as I thought, the superintendent said grimly. Blake, you're a disgrace to the force. Jake Blake went red with shame. Eating sugar all the time turned me to a life of crime, he confessed. The baker was very pleased. Here's a bag of sausage rolls for both of you, he said to Chip and Nadim. Floppy was hungry. Wasn't anyone going to give him any food? Don't forget my brilliant pet, said Chip. Forget pet. Hey, that rhymes. Chip turned to Floppy. The key's glowing, he said. We're going, thought Floppy. They were back on the footpath by their school. Chip took out his notepad and pen and started writing furiously. When he'd finished, he turned to the others. "Got it," he said. They all gathered round as Chip read out his rap. "Here's a rap about my pet. Here's a dog you won't forget. He doesn't mind when he's all wet. Homes are what he likes to get. He doesn't like to see the vet. I think he's the best dog yet." Everyone clapped and cheered. They all thought it was a brilliant rap, especially. I think he's the best dog yet. Everyone clapped and cheered. They thought it was a brilliant rap, especially Floppy. And now I've reached the end of the bend, and it's time for me to say the end. The cream cake mystery. When the magic key on Floppy's collar starts to glow, the children are off on a new adventure, whizzed by magic to wonderful lands and faraway worlds. Chip, Nadim, and Floppy are asked for their help to solve the mystery of the cream cake robber. Floppy soon sniffs out a vital clue, but will Chip be able to solve the puzzle? Other books in the series, and they are HMS Sweet Tooth, Log and the Giant Storks, The Rook King, Clutterland Band, Troll Talk, The Patchworker, Code Calling, Zandoodle and the Weasel Bang, Biff of the Jungle, The Deems Machine, The Flying Circus, Fraser the Eraser, The Anina Academy, Dragonland, Biff and the Queen of Hearts, Floppy and the Puppies, The Giant and the Needables, and Master Hansel and Miss Gretel. The Magic Key is produced by Hit Entertainment for the BBC. And now I have really reached the end. And now that I've reached the end, here is a message to send, which is, well guys, I hope you've enjoyed that story. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time for another video. Bye bye.